Fear is one of the most dominant emotions a lady has. And that's why they say if you're in a relationship with a woman and she's not afraid of losing you, then you've lost the whole thing entirely. But the aspect of a lady's fear we're going to be talking about today is the aspect of fear of financial insecurity. So ladies generally, they have this natural ability to relate. And that's solely because God and nature has endowed a lady with the ability to create life. So creating life comes with some extra add-ons, and that means she has extra emotional intelligence, extra relational abilities, the kind of things that a lady can decipher from a human being. A man cannot even know those things exist. So that's natural, right? So that's powerful. And money, on the other hand, they say money is energy. And the wise man once said that if a person has not seen who they are when they have money, they don't really know themselves, right? So imagine the power that the lady has naturally from the relational side of life, and then mixing the power with money is an uphill battle. And that is why uh, any man getting to relate with an ambitious lady or a financially independent lady is a bit of a pickle, right? But if you've gotten to this point, feel free to subscribe and like our videos wherever you see it. So we're going to be discussing this based on 5 points. And the last point is a very interesting point and it's for men only. So by the fifth point, ladies should just exit this group. Let the men discuss. So the first point is the genesis of female independence. The second point is fear, a female's best friend or worst enemy. The third point is the confusion. The fourth point is the balance. And the fifth point is the hack for being with a financially independent lady. For men, of course. So let's jump right into it. So the genesis of financial independence, it started from mostly from the previous generation. If you notice, most mothers, uh, they were mostly just in the home front and they took a lot of things that they were not supposed to take because they didn't have an option. They didn't have a way out. They didn't have their own money. So they did something and they made sure that their daughters won't be in that type of scenario. So they invested in their daughters, put in their resources to make sure their daughters are equipped to be financially independent. And part of those results is what we are seeing now. And even before that, it dates back to World War One and World War Two. World War One in 1914 and World War Two in about 1939. Most men went out there and they were fighting wars, and the women had to come out of the home front to be able to keep the economy working, right? So by the time the men got back, the women were already established in the workforce, so they just had to continue life that way. And those days, work used to be more of hard things, but now work is more of intellectual and brains things. So that is why uh, most ladies are smart, so they can get to work and work properly in the workforce. And I must say, working with the ladies, it is very exciting because they are so sharp and they're very dedicated to what they do, even if they're always deviant, but it's still a good thing generally. Right. So on the second point, fear, a lady's best friend or worst enemy. All right. And like we said, the fear we're talking about here is her fear of financial insecurity. And it's really a big deal because this fear is not based off of something too frivolous. It's not a bad thing per se, but most times it's something innate in ladies. And it's about they want stability for their offspring. So when they are requiring financial stability from a man, it's a maternal instinct that wants them to see that, okay, my offspring or my children will not come to this world and suffer, right? And when you see a lady that has gained some form of financial stability and a lady that hasn't, one of the major differences between them is humility. The lady with more money, most times, is far from being humble. But when you can see a lady that is humble and has money, it has taken a lot of character molding and training to ensure that that lady can be humble, right? But it's usually difficult. If you think I'm lying, ask any rich lady around you, and she'll tell you. So, um, and this extra ability, this extra power makes ladies to make a lot of unrealistic rules that makes relationship difficult for the men in their lives. And it ranges from different things to they make a timetable. The man will cook, clean, and take care of things in the house for a certain number of days, and she will do it for a certain number of days. Even if that on its own is probably not a big deal, but the intention behind it is what makes it a bit unfitting, right? So they make a lot of rules and things, a lot of things just are becoming difficult. It's now co-leadership, and she's a co-leader. Kingsley Okonkwo, he usually makes a joke that if you and your wife bought a house, join money to buy a house, you cannot tell her to, hey, leave my house when something happens, because it's a house too. Her money is inside. So that's just on a lighter note. So the confusion is that most ambitious ladies, they want ambitious men too, and they're around ambitious men, and um, it creates an imbalance in relationships, because you cannot have two alphas, you cannot have two captains running a ship. So if you have an ambitious man and ambitious woman, something doesn't work well, right? So if you look at it, the what will work for a very ambitious lady is a man that is a bit less ambitious, right? And what will work for an ambitious man is a lady that is a bit less ambitious, because sometimes most ambitious men, they don't care about how much the lady makes. They just care about the lady handling other aspects of life that um, the man might not be able to handle. But it's a bit of a pickle, because sometimes with men that cannot handle being around an ambitious lady, it's not uh, their doing. Most times it's health wise. So there are times that the testosterone level, the man's testosterone level is low, and he's not able to have the drive or the push to be able to relate with an ambitious lady, right? And sometimes it's his cortisol level. So when a man has high cortisol level, that drops the level of his testosterone, and he has a lot of issues. So when you see a man that's not confident, sometimes it is vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin B2 that's low. And if that man can get to work on it, it will help the man, it will boost his confidence, and he'll be able to relate better with with the ambitious lady. So it's a big confusion, and uh, most times you get to see the confusion and the negative results of the confusion. But there's a balance, right? There's a balance, and the balance is men should understand that yes, financial independence, but there are other things that a lady needs to have a well-rounded leadership in the context of a relationship or marriage. And apart from financial leadership, there's social leadership, there's spiritual leadership, and there's emotional leadership also. So you see that even if the man is not, he might not be on the financial side. When he has these four things, you see that things are going well. And when you see rich people like Jeff Bezos or the big guys that divorce, you wonder, these people have the whole money in the world. Why would this lady be asking for divorce? Sometimes ladies have their issues, but a lot of times it is because there's no rounded or well-rounded leadership package that they offer. That's why these women want to exit, right? So the balance is everybody should know what they want to do and get to find their type, right? So the ambitious lady should go for a guy that is a bit less ambitious, right? And the ambitious man should go for a lady that is a bit less ambitious, and it works. So if the lady is going for an equally ambitious guy, you will see that with time, that relationship will not last. And that is the foundation of a lot of issues people have these days, right? And it's amazing, and it makes sense that we take time to look at these things very innately and very critically. So our last point, the hack for men that want to be with a lady that is financially independent, right? And that hack is emotions, right? So that emotion that makes it difficult to be with a financially independent lady is the same emotions that makes it very easy. And that is what we call eros, right? It's a type of love. They're different kind of love, but eros is the kind of love that God created to make sure that men and women can be attracted to each other and they can procreate. Without eros, you'll see a very beautiful lady and you'll see her like a chair or a table, right? So eros is the hack, and no matter how financially independent a lady is, right? So far, she has strong emotions for you. She has eros. She has love for you. Let's put it that way. That is the only thing you need, because whatever she has, she would minimize it and just package everything and just give it to you. I'm not saying she'll give you her money. I mean, she will just make sure all hurdles are cleared, and she just makes sure it's a smooth journey and there's no issue anywhere. And I keep saying that if I have an opportunity to examine the brain of a lady that's in love with a man, I'm sure maybe like 40 or 50% of her brain will be the man's name inside. I've worked with ladies that when you can see that they're in love with their partner or their friend or their partners or their husbands. In every conversation, the partner's name must come up in 30 minutes, 20 minutes, somehow their names will be coming up. So all they can think about is the men, right? So uh, from research and based on my understanding, I've seen that that's a good thing, because that is what will keep the lady to make sure that everything goes smoothly and she won't let any issue happen. So for a man, it's very important that you have a lady that loves you way more than you love her, or has eros for you way more than you have for her, right? And I have a friend that usually says a joke that, oh yeah, it's fine to do the whole fighting and push for the initial part of the relationship, but eventually, if he doesn't see that this lady is crazy about him, he will just leave the whole matter, because that is the only thing that can set up a balanced field and can make sure that the lady does everything and clears every hurdle to just make sure that everything goes well, right? And this is not to say that if a lady shows such affection towards a man, the man shouldn't use it against her. He should be a mature person and make sure he balances everything out and make sure that the way she's making things easy for him, he's making things easier for her also. And it's amazing that there's for every type of man, for every level of man, there is a level of lady that will just work for you perfectly. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to do too much, right? So even when I go to local communities for projects and stuff, when you see the type of ladies that are there, you're like, there's something for everybody. So it's not even about the big levels. Even at the lower levels, there's somebody for everyone, right? So and it's important that we flow with our level and get to do with it. That if for some reason you get to relate with a lady that maybe has better opportunities and is more financially independent than you, make sure the level of eros, the level of affection she has for you is very high. That is the hack, and that's the only way to go forward. So, till our next episode, um, thank you for watching this amazing episode, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Mindshift. Cheers.